Hello and welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Feel free to like or dislike the video as you see fit, so feel free to hit those buttons. Feel free to comment below, and I would appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel and hit your notification bell for more content as it's released. You're also free to share my videos as much as you like, because the purpose of this channel is educational in regards to atheist and deconversion issues and any issues related to those issues. A hearty shout out to the Rabyd Nation. Join the nation by hitting that subscribe button, and if you want to become a supporter of the channel in a more tangible way, hit the join button and you can buy your citizenship into the Rabyd Nation, and your options will be presented to you for that. Today is Friday, so I want to talk more about Reconstruction as far as the deconversion process. My personal view of the deconversion is that you have two elements. You have the deconstructive element where you're taking apart stuff that was poorly influenced or corrupted or poisoned by religion and spiritual belief, and you're taking that out, and now, okay, what do you put back in there? What is your reconstructive phases? We lose a lot of quote-unquote good things when we leave religion, but they can be replaced by things that are a little bit more more positive. And part of that is learning to rebuild our own personal philosophy. I've said it many times before that we all have a personal philosophy. It's all a question of whether you want to do like the hard work of developing your own personal moral code, your own personal philosophy, your own objective and vision for your life, or you want to let some book do it for you or some imaginary friend. And I think this is to me, the aspect, Reconstruction is the aspect of taking personal responsibility for yourself, okay? That you no longer have this outside entity watching over you because you know that, God doesn't exist. You begin to, or you at least aren't convinced that God exists, and you just have to move on with your life. Well, how do you do that? And I'm no expert in this stuff, but I have been through it, and I'm going to start sharing, I guess, on Friday, some of the things that I have done in order to get to a place where I want to be, okay, in my life. Developing my own personal philosophy, and that includes like a moral code, objectives, things like that, has been very much a part of that. When I first left the faith, the first thing I wanted to figure out is how to ground myself into a personal code that would allow me to continue to develop myself and develop my character and so on and so forth. All right, so today I'm going to give you 7 questions you can ask yourself when building a personal philosophy without faith. Okay, so you've gotten past faith, now what are you going to do? Well, the first question I started to ask is, what kind of person do I want to be? And I had to start to do the hard work myself of developing a personal vision. And one of the things I learned through counsel was have options. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. One of the things that religion kind of teaches us very poorly is, get on your hands and knees, pray, and find that one destiny, that one vision you should have for your life. And the problem with that is, what if it doesn't work out? Okay, well then what happens is people go back, oh, well, I misunderstood God's vision for me. Well, not really. It's just that you put all your eggs in one basket. You focused in on one thing, and there are a lot of obstacles to every option that you would have. Now, when I sat down to career counseling, thanks to the Clergy Project, the career counselor kind of said, no, you need to have like options that you can do and things you can prototype. Like you can try things out and see if they fit for you, even to the point of getting a job in that field and seeing if it works. Okay, I'm getting an idea of what that's all about. And so one of the things of developing a personal vision for yourself is, what kind of person do I want to be? Okay, and then have options of what kind of person do you want to be. When I sat down to career counseling, by the time I was done, I had 3 options. Okay, be a teacher, be an atheist advocate, and be a writer. Okay, so these are 3 things that after lots of counseling, these are things that I could follow after and that I could enjoy. I prototyped being a teacher before because I'd been a substitute teacher, and then I moved on to other things. including becoming a social studies teacher in the state of Texas. After a while, I realized that this wasn't for me, got out of it. Atheist Advocate, I started this channel. I have continued to kind of, in a sense, prototype it and push it forward to see if it'll work. If we get to a point where this is, paying me revenue, okay, it started to work, and maybe I need to stick with it. Writing is something that I'm toying with and I'm still pushing, but I have options. And part of the challenge right now is to find a third option. What is my third option? Always keeping 3 to 5 options in front of you, preferably 3, keep it down a little bit. But always keeping that, what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of thing can I accept? Not just career, but what kind of person do you want to be known to as from your family standpoint, other things like that. Being a teacher to me was more than just the career. There was other things about it. Same with being an atheist advocate, being a writer. There's other things around that you need to really think about and talk about with yourself. Number 2, what virtues do I want to follow in my life? One of the things that we often get accused of once you become a deconverted person, or an atheist in particular, is you have no moral code. And that is completely untrue. The difference is I now have to develop it without some cosmic sugar daddy telling me what to do. Okay, I have to figure out what kind of virtues do I want to emulate in my life. And human virtue actually spans a lot of things. Okay, you can have all kinds of virtues that you follow. What are the things that when you look at other people's character, what are the things that you think is beneficial to them, and what kind of things do you want to emulate in your own life? Developing a personal growth plan in regards to your own character development is one of the first steps to really taking responsibility for your own morality. You're going to see a theme through all these questions is taking responsibility. Take responsibility for the vision for your life. Take responsibility for your character and your character development. Number 3, now that I'm no longer religious, what is no longer in my control? Yeah, I'm going to throw a little Stoic philosophy into you. This really helped me, because one of the things that religion gets you to do is constantly waste your time doing things in an attempt to control things that are really uncontrollable. And what I've had to learn is what is no longer in my control, and thus learn how to stop expending emotional energy, resources, time, all that stuff in things I can't really control. Okay, prayer is a good example of religious people spending an inordinate amount of time that is really ineffective in trying to control what they can't control. Okay, it's beyond their control, so they just give it to God, or they just pray, or they whatever. Well, all we can do about it is pray about it. Well, why don't you just conclude there's nothing you can do about it and go on and focus on the next question? Okay, but one of the things of discarding things that I really can't control or do anything about became a big part of my own personal philosophy, because what is it that I can get out of my control, stop wasting time, emotional energy, all that stuff, trying to control stuff I can't. Okay, and religion really gives you this false image of having power over circumstances that you really don't possess, and then you can get rid of that and move on. Okay, you'll find that when you stop controlling stuff that you can't control, you're a lot less stressed out. Okay, just to be fair. Okay, and you can get rid of all that. Number 4, what is in my control and what should I do about it? Okay. There are things that you can control about your life. There are things that you can get under, some sort of semblance of control. There are things that you can develop in your life, or there's things you can pursue, or there's things you can do, and other things that we'll talk about here in a minute. As how do I get that under control? But what is it that I can control? And usually it's my own attitude and behavior. Once again, a little Stoic philosophy for you. I can't really control everybody else. I can't really control other people's attitudes, what they do, everything like that. But I can control me. Okay, I can make decisions where I'm doing certain things and I'm moving forward and I'm developing certain things in my life. So what are those things? Okay, what is it that I can indeed control? And this is really taking responsibility for your life, something that religion teaches you not to really do. We're just going to pray and give it to God, or we're going to just ask God for forgiveness so we don't have to do restitution. We spend an inordinate amount of time in religion just frogging around with things that we just don't have control over, instead of facing the responsibilities of things that we actually do have control over. Asking those two questions, what don't I have control over and what do I have control over, can save you a lot of time and begin to focus your efforts on what really matters to you. Okay. Number 5, what are my goals? Okay, so if I'm going to take control of the things I can control, what are my goals within that? How am I going to become what I want to be? Okay, how am I going to develop this character? How am I going to pursue these careers? How am I going to do this stuff? Taking responsibility for, okay, I now have this plan in my head. What can I do? Okay, what can I do about it? What are my goals? What am I trying to achieve? I don't recommend goals being very long list, like 3 to 5. Okay, the more you have, the more it becomes frustrating when some of those goals aren't achieved. You're looking for something that's an easy win, something that's a medium-sized win, and maybe something that's a long-term goal. Have it big and realize that there's a lot of things around each one of those goals that you're going to constantly have to change anyway. So making things very specific at times is good. Don't get me wrong, you can still do the SMART goal thing with these goals, but just keep it limited to what you can handle. I think a lot of times a lot of people bite off more than they can chew. And I know that for me as an autistic person, this is a very big real temptation because I think I can conquer the world most of the time. And I have to dial it back all the time and focus my goals on stuff that I actually can control and do something about. So this is very important. There's a lot of different ways to approach this. I'm just giving you one of the things and some of the advice that I would follow for myself. But there's other ways that you can control things and get things in your life better. But moving forward without faith means you have to set the objective. You don't have somebody else setting the objective for you. You don't have some God talking to you in your head telling you this is what you should pursue. You have to figure this out for yourself and do the real work of figuring it out for yourself. Number 6, what habits am I going to have to develop to get to my goals? The one thing about goals is usually what we have to do is something daily. Every day we've got to do that little bit and a little bit and a little bit. Probably over my shoulder you can see there's a book called Atomic Habits. Very valuable book for helping you to understand because it deals with changing neurology behavior. It's a very good book for understanding how to develop your habits slowly over time, and you get this incremental curve that suddenly shoots straight up once you get into it for a while. A lot of the problem with habits is we don't see a lot of really good results right at first, and it's one of those things that builds and builds and builds, and then suddenly it becomes this explosive thing that really gets you really good results of what you want. But you have to take the time to figure out how to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm just saying is you got to do stuff every day to get to where you want to be. And it's a hard thing to learn, but it's taking responsibility for your daily behavior to get to the character you want to be, get to the goals you want to have, get to the person that you want to be. Okay, you have to start taking responsibility and get rid of the notion that somebody else is going to come along, bail you out, change your habits, whatever. Usually when I see people change their habits, it means they had some sort of epiphany about what they needed to be for themselves. And a lot of times they say, oh, well, God give that to me. No, that was pretty much you. Okay, you just are wanting to give credit to somebody else because you want to be more humble about it. Well, get rid of that. And just realize that you have to take responsibility. And if you did achieve something, you did fine. Okay, you did fine. Number 7, am I being effective at achieving a better me? This is kind of the constant evaluation question that you have to ask yourself. Am I getting there? Evaluating whether or not you're achieving your goals, seeing your personal vision develop, seeing the character develop in your life that you want. This is something that you really have to constantly keep in place. I ask this question, am I being effective in doing what I'm doing all the time? And if I don't feel like I'm being effective, I make some adjustments. If I do feel like effective, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, so you keep moving forward doing what you need to do, but you're constantly evaluating whether I'm being effective. This is the ultimate in taking responsibility, doing things daily and evaluating on a daily basis whether or not you're getting where you want to be. This is Now, a lot of this sounds like a lot of difficult stuff, but once you get in the habit of doing it, it becomes regular routine. And once something becomes a routine, it usually works for me. Now, this may not be you, and I understand that these 7 questions may not completely fit what you are, but I hope that they can kind of inspire you and get you going down the path of taking personal responsibility and getting beyond faith. None of these questions require you to live a life of faith. In fact, as you've heard, I'm trying to tell you, you don't need that to achieve things. One of the most unnecessary things in life to achieving your goals is religion. You don't need it, okay? In fact, you'll spend a lot of time wasting time praying for things that about things you can't control. You'll end up giving money to something that you could have been spending on yourself to make yourself a better person. You'll end up, spending resources, your talents, doing stuff that doesn't really develop you. And the thing that you need to be is a better person so that you can be better for the people around you that you love and care for and better for society as a whole. Learning how to reconstruct your life so that you're taking responsibility and asking the questions that you need to ask to get there is a big part of that. These 7 questions are examples of questions you can ask yourself, but there's many more, and you can come up with your own. The point is, I just want you to start getting down the path of taking personal responsibility. It's how I began to start to change my life. And if you need help, get the help. Okay, get the help. As always, I can't recommend in this enough that you get some sort of therapy and counseling about what you need to do. It'll be the most helpful thing that you can do. And sometimes you just need somebody else to listen and give you some advice. And, that's kind of where I'm going to leave it today. I think over the next few weeks, you're going to see as I do Reconstruction Fridays, I'm going to be looking at some of the things that I have done to help improve myself and become a better person without any of the faith or religion trappings, and show you how that this can be done in some ways. I'd also, with these reconstruction videos, if those of you that are reconstructing, anything you've learned along the way, share it in the comments. All of us can benefit from that, and I would appreciate it. Thanks once again for stopping by. I appreciate every like, share, and subscribe. And as always, remember to live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over, so don't waste your time, your money, your energy on the trappings of religion and faith, but instead give your energy to building a better you, developing that personal philosophy so that you're a better person for yourself, for your family, for your friends, those you care about, and for making this a better world. And as always, thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time.